Well, folks, we made it to season 7. Welcome to the Vulnerability Time podcast. I am your host, Josias Abriel, and published author. Speaking of published author, before the episode starts, make sure to go check out my books. They're available on Amazon, and the link is in the episode description below. Go ahead, get you some healing. One's a poetry book about overcoming pain and trauma and stuff like that, and then the other one's a self-awareness interactive journal notebook. So get you some healing. You're worth it. Another thing that you're worth all the love in the world. You're worth all the healing in the world, and I'm glad that you're here with us today to heal together. You are loved, you are valuable. This is your sign. Alrighty, enjoy the episode. Bye, folks. Alrighty, hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Vulnerability Time. I am your host and published author, Josias Abriel. With us today, we have Robert. Welcome, Robert, to the Vulnerability Time podcast. Folks, I'm sure you can tell by the title what we will be talking about today. But before we get into our topics or discussion points, Robert, tell us a little bit about you. Any credentials, what you do, or just, let us get to know
Sure,
Robert a little bit.
sure. Well, my name's Robert. I go by B Side. That's my stage name. I'm a rapper. I've been in the rap business for about 20 plus years now. I recently just came out with a book. I have multiple sclerosis, so I wrote a book about my life with multiple sclerosis and dealing with the music business and how it changed my life and how I kind of overcame stuff and things of that nature. So here I am.
Yes. Robert, after this call, I mean, I'll message you, but after this call, send me any links that you have. That way,
Absolutely.
yeah. So folks, look in the episode description below so you can check out more about Robert. Yes. Because we love to support over here, folks. Make sure you support. Yeah, okay. Sorry, folks, I am choking a storm up here. Um, so today we'll be talking about, Robert will be telling us about what it's like living with MS. We'll also be talking music as therapy. Music can be very therapeutic, folks, very healing, and the dark side of disability. Um, yes. So, Robert, where would you like to start first? Because you're going to take us through your journey. Where from these three topics would you like to start first?
Sure. Well, I mean, let's just take it from the top. I'll tell you about my journey, I guess, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I got diagnosed with MS when I was 28. It was 2011. So I had been like I said, I'm a rapper. I've been dealing with being on the independent music scene for about 20 plus years. So I was, touring, doing shows, all that kind of stuff. And I noticed at one point in time that my left arm started going numb, and never really thought about it. I just thought it was a pinched nerve. I saw a chiropractor, and they thought that they might be able to get it worked out. And unfortunately, that never happened. So, and then I was going through life just trying to do things, go to concerts and stuff like that. But then I noticed this one time at this concert, my legs were completely numb. Like if they fell asleep, like when if you keep your legs crossed or something like that too long. So it felt like that. And I just kind of just kept brushing it off. But I even thought it was maybe something the food I ate because I was eating like spicy food, and it kind of like I thought it maybe did something to my mouth or whatever because my mouth was numb. And no, that wasn't the problem. They end up doing an MRI on me, and I found out I have MS. And where I live in a state called I live in New York State, but I
Mm-hmm.
live in a city called Utica,
Mm-hmm.
and the medical care here isn't really the greatest.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened is I got this neurologist, just a general neurologist, that told me, you have MS, just take this shot, you'll be good, whatever. So I'm thinking I'm going to take this shot and I'll be fine. So I take this shot and nothing really is happening. I just keep progressively kind of getting worse. So thanks to my father knew somebody that had a wing of a hospital named after them in Rochester, New York. So he ended up getting me into this hospital at the University of Rochester, and they have an MS center there. So they ended up taking me, changing my medicine, getting me a new MRI and all that stuff, getting me on medication that worked better than the shots that I was on.
Mhm.
So, and then, I mean, unfortunately, I'm in a wheelchair and stuff like that, but it hasn't progressed any worse. And, like I still have my eyesight. People lose their eyesight, people lose the ability to talk, things like that. So I'm lucky in the fact that I haven't lost any of that stuff.
Mhm. Yes, yes. Um, so tell us a little bit more about about what you know what MS is for those of us who don't know.
Sure. It is, what happens is it's a thing that attacks the myelin in your brain. And what myelin is it's the coating around your nerves. It's kind of like, think about an electrical cord. So the MS comes in and it like frays the electrical wiring. So that's what MS pretty much is. It takes the myelin away from your nerves, so that's why it all depends on where it is in your body. It can happen in your cervical spine or in your brain. And most of mine is in my cervical spine. And that's why I think I have more problems with mobility and things of that nature. And if it was more in my brain, I'd have more problems with speech and vision
Mhm.
or things of that nature. So that is pretty much what it comes down to. MS is kind of something that just attacks your nerves and kind of messes you up.
Gotcha, gotcha. And
Yeah.
how long have you been living with MS?
I've been living with it since 2011. That's when I was diagnosed.
Okay.
So I don't know. I would say I've probably been living with it longer than that. But
Mm,
when I got the diagnosis in 2011, it kind of put a name to it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
So take us a little bit about, before we get to, how music has been a part, of your journey, your healing journey, the music as a form of therapy.
Yeah.
Take us a little bit or a lot of it. Take us, to what the dark side of disability, because that was a topic that we, kind of landed on in our pre-meeting.
Yeah.
So yeah, why that topic stood out to you?
Well, because I mean, uh it's really not like roses and rainbows and all that crap when it comes down to disability.
Right.
I mean, I know people are going to process disability all different ways.
Mhm.
And I mean, there are times I'll cry. I get frustrated. I get upset at things. I literally was just upset over something because I just got a call from a credit card company that said that there was a fraudulent charge, but
Mhm.
it wasn't fraudulent. It was me. And I'm getting frustrated with them because I'm trying to tell them it was my charge. They send me something to do all this stuff with to verify my identity, and it's not working. So it just gets me so frustrated, and I'm getting so angry at this.
Mhm.
And it's just, I'm not getting angry. I'm getting angry over nothing, pretty much. And things, I think the MS just makes me more frustrated
Mhm.
and, more emotional,
Mhm.
and like there's times when it's just a bad day when you wake up. I
Yeah.
have to get out of bed with a sit to stand. So what that is where they get me up and they put me on the end of the bed, and then I grab onto these things, and it actually uses like a machine to pull you up, and then you're standing up on your own 2 feet with the help of this machine. So I mean, there's it's just so uncomfortable, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like so bad. And there's some days I can't even take it. I just get up and I just want to die. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just so bad, and you just try and talk yourself out of it, try and talk yourself out of it as much as possible, because or laugh, because it's better to laugh than cry.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, I mean, that's just kind of where I'm at with it,
Yeah.
is that it pisses me off. I
Yeah.
mean, there's times it really pisses me off, and there's nothing you can do about it, but try and tell somebody how you feel. Or
Yeah.
luckily I have my mom, so I
Yeah.
mean, luckily she's a great woman.
Oh.
So I mean, she's been there for me for my whole life with everything, and
Yeah.
luckily she's still with us and everything. So she takes care of me a lot of the time, and we talk, and I definitely vent to her and things, and she's kind of like my therapist.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. That's beautiful that you
Yeah.
have that.
Yeah.
Yeah. To have that support, because it's just very, very, very important for those of us that have, disability, for anyone, but
Right.
especially for those of us who have disability, to have that support. Something that I really liked what you said, something that I totally relate to. Y'all listening, if you're new to this show, welcome. But if you've been a listener, you know that I also have disability, PTSD, and MDD. Um, so when Robert was saying like how there are some days you just wake up and it's just not a good day, or days that you just want to die. Like that is so valid. That is so true. And
Hmm.
um from my experience, it seems like I'm not saying this is like this way for everyone, but it just seems like, from my experience, like I know people mean well, but I just can see that like not everyone can understand that statement of like when you just wake up and it's just generally like it's just a bad day. Like there have been days where there was no like talking me out of it. There was no, oh, just be grateful for everything and that'll fix everything. Like, no, there were those
Hmm.
days where I had to just go through it. I just had to, and I'm
Yeah.
sure you can understand that.
Yep. Absolutely. You
Yeah.
just got to kind of like buck up and say, yeah, whatever. I'm just going to deal with
Mhm.
it today.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do. It sucks, but
Yeah.
what are you going to do?
Yeah. There's
The,
some
al-
days. Yeah. Go ahead.
the alternatives suck. So I'd rather just buck up and deal with it.
Hmm. Yeah, and
Yeah.
there's some days where like I'm just like, yeah, I had to cry my way through. I had to just be upset through. I just had
Hmm.
to let my emotions and let my humanness be, and recognize that, like my frustrations at the day are extremely valid, extremely understandable. And then of course there were days where I'm like, okay, I could just name off things that I'm grateful of and that'll make me feel better. But there are just some days where it's just like it just didn't matter. And
Right.
I know that I say that because I know like a lot of times, at least for me, like how I was raised was to when something wasn't quote unquote, I hate saying this, quote unquote positive, um it would make people, including myself, like, and this is way back then, like as a kid, it would make myself and other people uncomfortable. So what do you do in that uncomfort? You just try to either brush it under the rug or throw toxic positivity on it, rather
Hmm.
than, allowing ourselves the space to be human, and to be able to have that honesty and that like that safe moment to say, guess what? Like today is one of those days where it's just not a great day for me. It might be a great day for you. It might be a great day for someone else on this world. Great. I'm glad. I wish more great days out there.
Yep.
But it's just like, especially when it comes to like, disability there, it's it's different, like, it's complex, it's,
It is.
it's a very it can be a very unique experience. So I love that you mentioned that, there are just days where you woke up and it just wasn't a good day. And I think that's really powerful. I think that's very human. And I honestly applaud you for even being able to say that. I know this is the podcast to say that. Yes, I get it, but still, I still think it's huge. And I want to, um, a podcast guest yesterday reminded me of how important it is to acknowledge even the quote unquote small wins as well as the big wins. So I think to me, I think that's a big win, Robert. You being able to just say, like, guess what? There have been days, where it's just not a good day today, and
Right.
it's okay that it's not okay. Like, it's just not a
Yeah.
good day. So thank you for saying that. And folks listening, whether you have disability or not, I mean, if there are days sometimes where it's just not a good day, you have every right to say that to yourself. I know in society we're kind of taught this toxic positivity thingy, but and some people mean well with it, some I don't know, but you know, I want to encourage us all to give ourselves the space and the grace to be able to say, guess what? Today is not a good day. It's just not. Tomorrow might be, next week might be, but today is not, and that's okay.
Right.
Yeah. So I love that you shared that,
Thanks.
Robert. Um so You know, um, so I know music has been very important to you, and it's very important. And it's been a part of your journey.
Right.
Take us through how music has been a part of your journey, been there for you, and became a therapy for you.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, without music, I don't know where I'd be,
Yeah,
because it's definitely like a therapy.
yeah.
And the kind of music that I do, like, it's underground rap, but it's different than like the underground rap that people would normally hear about. I don't
Mm,
know if you've ever heard about the Insane Clown Posse before, if you've ever heard that name.
mm-mm.
No?
Mm.
Okay. Well, it's called horrorcore music.
Oh,
It's more like Wicked and stuff like that. It's more like a movie played out on like tracks and stuff. So we write about everything from love to murder. So I mean that's pretty much how it is. It's kind of a whole human spectrum. It's not really like mainstream music. It's not accepted by that kind of stuff. So that's the kind of music that I do. And I've been lucky enough and fortunate enough to be able to do it. And I've toured and I've done shows and been able to actually like sell merchandise and music and
mm,
things like that. And and it's just something that you can't even really explain, because it's better than a therapist,
mm,
because I can say literally whatever I want on a
mhm,
track, and just a little something that might be ruining my day. It doesn't even have to make sense with
mhm.
the track that I'm saying, and I could just put it out in a song, and it kind of helps me, because there's just that little bit of something that I'm able to get out.
Yeah.
So it's a therapist that doesn't talk back to you. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, you know, but it's good for me anyway. I that's how I get my stuff out.
Yes. I love that. So has music before you were diagnosed with MS, has music still always been therapeutic, or was it more like a okay.
Always
Yeah.
been therapy.
Oh.
Yeah, actually, I remember when I had a feature done on me in our local newspaper, and I was talking about how music was therapy for me, and I was actually working at Subway at that point, and there was some woman that always used to come in that was a regular customer. She happened to be a therapist, and she said to me, she goes, "Oh, that's great. That you use music like therapy." She goes, "If you ever need anything, though, just let me know." And I just thought that was funny because I never needed therapy actually until I got diagnosed with MS and they prescribed me these stupid drugs
Mhm.
that you can't get off of,
Mm.
so you need like a therapist to prescribe them. But the therapist that I have is absolutely horrible
Oh, man.
and was literally on a Zoom call with me for about 3 minutes and said, "Do you feel like killing yourself?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Oh, okay. Well, here we'll refill the prescriptions then." I'm like, that's not a psychiatrist or a therapist.
Mm.
That's a pill pusher.
Right, right.
Yeah,
So, so what, yeah, I know, right? That's like, yeah, I'm not, yeah,
yeah.
mm. Um, so when it comes to like, music being like that form of art being therapeutic, like, I love that. I love that. I think that, um, at least for me, how I view therapy is not that like it's not just like exclusive to sitting down with someone else and just, venting everything. I feel like there could multiple things could be like therapeutic or could be a
Right.
therapy, and so I think that's really cool. I don't know if I'm right about that definition, but like I've always viewed it like that. It's so
You probably are right about it though.
okay.
Whatever works for somebody, that's what I'd say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so, yeah, so I love that, um, music has been like kind of like that route for you. Like you said, you're able to just express yourself, you're able to turn your heart into art, you know?
Right. I like that.
Yes, it's a part of one of my poems that I wrote,
I
because
like that.
I used to struggle with addiction, and so I wrote a poem about recovery
Oh, nice.
and how like I yeah, and it was but speaking of art, is there like so I'm seeing y'all can't see this, but I'm seeing you have an iTunes plaque behind you.
Yes.
Yes, and tell us a little bit about that, because I mean we're going to be able to check you out in the episode description below,
Yes.
Robert. But
Yes.
tell us a little bit about
Yes.
that.
Okay. That's great. I have a great story about that iTunes plaque
Please tell.
actually. Okay. Now, here's the thing. I made a song called "Throw Away Your Problems," and I talked about like the MS in it and how it changed my life pretty much and stuff like that. But so I have this friend of mine that said, "Oh, if you want, we can get your song on the iTunes charts. It just costs $1,000." I'm like, "Okay." So I'm like, iTunes charts, that'll help get me some promotion. People probably buy it and stuff like that. So I talked to my friend at this point. He's got it all set up. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Bada bing, bada boom. We got all the things done for it. I paid the money. I end up talking to this guy that's got the thing on the iTunes charts. He's like, "Oh, okay, it's done. You're number 54 on the iTunes charts." I'm like, "Great." Okay, so I go to check out how much money I've made. Sold 4 songs. It's a complete scam. Anybody with music can call this guy and say, "Hey dude, I want to get on the iTunes charts." And if they got $1,000, they can get on the iTunes charts. And I'm exposing all that crap. I don't care. I'm
Mhm,
sick of it. I've been in
mhm,
the music business for so long. I don't even care. I want to expose that kind of crap.
mhm,
And I have that plaque on my wall to remind me about the $1,000 that I wasted on it,
mhm,
and to know that there's still scams in the business that you gotta watch out for.
mhm.
Yeah.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yep. So that's the story behind the
That's the
iTunes
story.
plaque.
But gotcha, gotcha. I
Yep.
not expected that. I'm sorry that happened. It's
Yeah, no, that's all right.
terrible.
That is all right. That's the kind of crap that we deal with in the music business.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's
Yeah,
terrible. That's terrible to
yeah.
happen to someone. Oh my gosh. Robert. Okay, so tell us about what are your more what's your favorite song that you made and like why is that your favorite song? And of course folks go check that out. But I want to hear more about that.
Okay, I would say one of my favorites. So I can I swear or no?
Or it's vulnerability time. Fuck shit
Okay,
piss.
okay. So the song is called "My Life's Fucked Up," and
Yes.
that is probably one of my favorite songs that I've ever done. I actually talk about it in the book.
Mhm,
What happened is there was this time when my mom had to file for bankruptcy,
mhm,
and something happened where my name was attached to a credit card, and a whole big blowout happened between me and my mom. I end up writing this song called "My Life's Fucked Up," and I put like the whole like situation inside the song, three verses of it, and just talk about just how life was kind of like how I was like the only man in the house because my dad had left us and
mhm,
things like that. And that, like, the hook goes, "My life's fucked up, I can't take it anymore, please God, please save me from the storm, I found my way in but I need a way out, fuck this life, what's it really all about?"
mhm.
So I mean that's the way the hook goes, and then like it's just like a really like vulnerable kind of song.
Yeah. Gotcha, gotcha. Yes,
Yeah,
very raw and vulnerable and
yeah.
authentic. I like that. Yeah. Oh yeah, of course you can cuss. It's vulnerability time. Anything
All
goes
right.
here.
Well, I never know.
Right, you never know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. That's why I like to do like the pre-meeting just because I know like this podcast might be different than a lot of others, a lot of others they're like kind of in a box, but I was like, no, 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 bring
Right,
the human. Bring the human.
right.
Let's throw away the box. Um, okay, so what is a more what's a so there's your favorite song, and then what's like a give us one of a popular song, and tell us more about that.
All right. There is this one song that I made. It had to be 2006.
Mhm,
It's called "Y'all Came Here to Party" with B-side.
mhm,
And that's the song that I made, and that is more of like a poppy kind of like rap song. And I would say that's how people started to get to know me back then. And that's actually how I met one of my better friends in the music business. He actually ended up hitting me up because he heard that song, and he's like, "Oh, I can help you out. I'm not going to promise you anything, but I can help you out." And I'm like, "Oh, this guy ended up being, I've been friends with this guy for over 20 years now." So, eh, so it's kind of crazy. I don't necessarily have like mainstream success, if you know what I mean. Like I'm not like a Taylor Swift or a Lady Gaga or anybody like that, you know what I mean? But it's more like underground stuff, and it's just doing the kind of stuff that I want to. There's no like major label behind me or anybody telling me what to say.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Wonderful. Okay, good. So that's a good like starting point. So you told us your favorite song and then a popular song. So that's a good starting point for folks to,
Yep.
say check you out on. And so yes, folks, check out Robert's song and his work and his book and all that anything else that Robert sends me in the episode description below. Yes. Um Okay, well, Robert, before we wrap up, is there any hellos, any goodbyes to anyone you want to say, or any
Well,
final
I
thoughts?
just want to make sure that if anybody wants to, they can check out my book. I just wrote it. It's about my life with music and MS,
Mhm.
and it's a story about resilience and reinvention. and you can find it. It's on Amazon, or you can go right to the website, myelinmyshoes.com, but it's spelled Myelin,
Mm.
myshoes.com, because the myelin is the stuff that's in your brain that the nerve, the nerves that get eaten away.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. Classic. That was
And
good play on words.
thank you. And thank you for having me on, man. That means a lot.
Of course, I'm glad that you are on, Robert. Stay on just a couple more minutes while I close this out.
Sure.
Folks, I like to leave with a little challenge. Not too much. I know we have social anxiety. I know that's a thing. I got it. Me too. But tell, text, or call 1 to 2 people and let them know that you are glad that they are alive and that they are important, right? That can include yourself as well. Robert, I'm glad that you're alive and you're so important.
Thank you very much.
I truly, truly do mean that. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for coming on here and helping to, continuing to help, heal the world and love the world and provide, an example of, you know, authenticity and honesty, especially in societies that, promote toxic positivity, you know, um, things of that
Right.
nature. Like, so you're very, very, very important. You're very important. I truly do mean that. I'm not just saying,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. So are you. We need more people like you that can, get people to talk about things and, talk about their problems and get things out. And I love what you said about sending somebody a text message and tell them that you love them and they mean something to you, because we're only here for a short time. So, you know,
Yes. Yes.
tell somebody you love them.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, folks. Well, this has been another episode of Vulnerability Time. Check out Robert's information and his work and his art in the link below. And I will see y'all next time for whatever that will be. Get on out of here, folks. Love ya.